It is true that most of our founding leaders were Christians. Many of them were spiritually grounded in biblical principles of education, law, government, and economics. They relied on their faith that God would and could see them through any and all obstacles. Today, a vast majority of American leaders, including many Christians, base their leadership decisions on secular, man-made points of view. Thus, they've all but excluded God in the process. This may substantiate why the world is facing greater problems than ever before. Hi, I'm Alan Newsom, and my topic today is spiritual leadership, today and yesterday. Roughly 3 decades ago, the name America would evoke a feeling of pride, gratitude, and hope. America's moral and fiscal currency was the soundest in the world. According to Peter Marshall and David Manuel, authors of The Light and the Glory, we were the free world's policeman and an encouraging older brother to those young nations struggling to achieve democracy and the hope of all those still in bondage. At home, we were confident that we were making the world a better place to live. There were gradual, sustained improvements that most people could trace in their own lifetimes, and the future looked promising. We were technologically superior, and breakthroughs were a daily occurrence. Medically, it seemed, we were on the verge of conquering many diseases. Scientifically, we had landed on the moon. The future of America, by all accounts, was unstoppable. However, overnight, something went awry. Our foreign military ventures failed. We lost a president that personified the American dream to an assassin's bullet. The youth began to lash out at authority and escape into the mindless self-destruction of drug abuse. Nations that we had once helped, began to turn against us with hatred, and our foreign policy devolved into one of reaction. At home, according to the Washington Post, our children were 2 years behind the averages of a decade before by college entrance standards in both mathematics and English. Industry gave way to services, and a greater percentage of the population was on welfare than ever before. And most of this has occurred since the ban on prayer in public schools in 1962. The most telling indicator by far was the extent of moral decay. We've accommodated sexual promiscuity through permissive sex education, more effective birth control, and legalized abortion. The divorce rate moved in the upwards of 50%. Child abuse cases soared, and parents fled the roles of traditional leadership. Alex de Tocqueville, a French author that studied democracy in America in 1831, foresaw the likely consequences of permitting the erosion of America's moral foundation and predicted that if this were to occur, we would see a new rise and a new form of despotism unique to democratic society. He said, and I quote, "Over its people will stand an immense protective power, which is alone responsible for securing their enjoyment and watching over their fate. It gladly works for their happiness, but wants to be the sole agent and judge of it. It provides for security, foresees and supplies their necessities, facilitates their pleasures, manages their principal concerns, directs their industry, and makes rules for their testaments and divides their inheritances. Thus, it daily makes the exercise of free choice less useful and more rare, restricts the activities of free will within a more narrow compass, and little by little robs each citizen of the proper use of his own faculties." End quote. We hit the rock bottom when our own president, a symbol that all is decent and right in America, was caught lying to the public and manipulating our trust. What happened to the American dream? The truth is that the dream is turning into a nightmare. Our founding fathers gave us the answer. They knew this nation was founded by God with a special calling. The people who first came to this land from the old world knew that they were being led here by the Lord Jesus Christ to found a nation where men and women and children were to live in obedience to Him. This was truly to be one nation under God. So where do we go from here? The answers are not easy, but the roadmap is right here. It's called the Holy Bible. And I only pray at this point that our leaders of the future look to His Word in order to change the current trajectory we as a nation have become accustomed to.